Good evening, guys. Hello and welcome back once again to another round of racing. This being round 7 with the Midnight Oil Racing League. This is, as I say, round 7, race 1. So Blood Diamond managing to get that pole position this week with Wayne G lining up in 2nd place there. Ice Chan starts in 3rd. We've got Thomas in 4th, Mawson in 5th, Vex starts in 6th. We've got Dan Bailey in 7th, Jerry is in 8th, we've got Pickle in 9th. Asbo in 10th and Clutch in 11th. And yeah, look, Jerry Smiles making an appearance this week. So welcome, Jerry. Hope you enjoy the racing. Without further ado, shall we get into this first race? Because I think there were some epic battles going on throughout this first one. So let's get into it. Klaxon sounded. They are off for the first time this evening. 2 races, 2 25-minute races. Look like Vex getting a really good getaway in the background there. Oh, I think there was a tiny bit of side-to-side contact between him and Dan Bailey, as Dan Bailey got a really good start. Actually manages to pull through. Blood Diamond losing the lead off the start. Mawson follows through in 4th place there. Thomas up to 5th, and then we have Vexed, Asbo, Jerry, Dan Bailey all the way down in 9th now. Clutch and who was that? Clutch and Pickle having a bit of a battle in the background there. So Blood Diamond and Mawson having a bit of a tussle there. And Ice Chan looking for a move now up the inside there of Wayne G. There's going to be contact. There was a tiny bit of contact. I think Ice just had to back in and just get back onto the rear bumper of that RX Vision. Are we going to see a move from Mawson come down into the hairpin? I'm not too sure. Further back, we also have Vex chasing down Thomas. I'm not sure if Vex is going to sling one up the inside, but you never know. Oh, but he is. He had a think about it. He did have a think about it. Almost alongside on the exit there as well. He's going to get a better run up the hill. And I think Thomas is going to keep that position for the meantime. So Thomas keeps that 5th place. Vex is still there in 6th. Blood Diamond loses the position to Mawson. Mawson up the inside through the hairpin. Or maybe got a better exit. But Blood Diamond, however, down into 4th place now. So Mawson needs to try and work to get onto the back of Chan. Chan, who's furiously looking for a way past Wayne G in the RX Vision. Almost has to look around the long way there. And there we go, we do finally see Chan go for a move. He's pulled out alongside. He's going to be having a look up the inside into turn 1 and actually gets it done before the turn. So Wayne G now coming under pressure from Mawson. Mawson, who also needs to keep his eyes behind him because we have got a charging Blood Diamond as well. Oh, Blood seized an opportunity there. He spotted a window, spotted a gap on the inside, didn't quite manage to get it done. Whoa, and that has actually cost him a few attempts now to Mawson. And then we see Vex. He's having a look up the inside. He's going to be able to get a move done. He's trying it. He's trying it. Thomas with a wider line. I think that's allowed Vex through. Still side by side. I think Thomas may win this corner. Well, Vex keeps his boot in, but Thomas has won this corner, this right-hander. So Vex has to sit behind again. And then we've got Dan Bailey. Dan Bailey looking for the move now against Vexed. We'll have a look further back in just a second. Well, that's Blood Diamond. Blood Diamond's had a moment somewhere. He's behind Vex now. Has another moment. That's allowed Dan Bailey through. Is Pickles going to be able to get through as well? Slots back in behind Dan Bailey. But he's definitely had a moment somewhere. That's cost him a few positions. He was down in 4th place. Finds himself down in 7th now. Pickle looking very racy in the background. Pickle trying to get onto the back of this battle ahead. So now we've got Dan Bailey and Blood Diamond. Blood Diamond's managed to find his way back past Dan Bailey, but what can he do? Can he get past Vexed as well? I think we may see the move coming under this back straight into the left-hander hairpin. Is he going to be close enough though? He's a bit far back at the moment. I think he might have to wait until the next lap. Well, actually just brakes later. Almost manages to get it alongside Vex there. You see a tiny bit of netcode within the lobby once again. But Vex keeps the position for the minute. This battle is going to heat up through the coming lap. So Thomas opting for the racing hards. We have Mawson up ahead on racing medium, still well within touch of Wayne G in second place. Wayne G also opting for the mediums. Chan starting to stretch his legs a little bit, starting to make a bit of a getaway. He's got a couple of seconds now over the cars behind. Fastest lap on lap 2 as well, 153.1. And he's just gone 200ths faster, 153.129. His previous was a 146. So Wayne G has managed to create a bit of breathing space back to Mawson. Mawson not too far off Wayne G, but he has a bit of time behind him to Thomas. Thomas is going to have to work them hards, really hard to try and get onto the back of Mawson, but looking like he's no slouch on the harder compound at the moment. And then Vex really being hounded now by Blood Diamond. Blood Diamond looking for a way past. Can he get it done this time around? I think we're going to see the move, as I say, come down either down the back straight if he gets a better run out of this left-hander, or we see it come into the left-hander hairpin. I think he's definitely closer this time around. Look like Vex maybe grazing the wall ever so slightly there on the exit, which cost him a little bit of momentum. So he's hugging the inside road now, trying to go defensive. He's going to cover off the inside line. Jason goes the long way round. Is he looking for the switchback? He is looking for the switchback. Almost pulls it off. In fact, I think he may have managed to do it. Vex is still there on the inside. No, Vex keeps the position. So this is a really spicy battle heating up here. Oh no, Jason! Oh, Jason just got on the grass a little bit there, was just sent that Ferrari sliding. He did well to recover that and to not lose too many more positions, but yeah, he's got his work cut out for him again. He's got to get back past Dan Bailey before he can have an opportunity at Vexed once again. So we'll have a look. We have Asbo now in 8th place. He's not far behind Blood Diamond. Can he get onto the back of the guys ahead, get into that slip and maybe get some positions made up? Clutch at the moment. So this is Clutch's first week on a wheel. Obviously when he first joined us he was on a pad, and you can see how smooth that car is now. So much smoother on the turn-ins. But obviously, as we all know, it takes a little while, doesn't it, to get up to speed on the wheel. So I think give it a few weeks and Clutch will definitely be up there battling once again. Once again, his confidence back. Jerry, we haven't seen a lot of Jerry. He's got a lot of damage on that car. I know he was having wheel issues as well. It looks like he's had to pull over and try and see if he can get the wheel sorted. It looks like he's going once again, but maybe having mechanical issues. So Ice Chan. Ice Chan has lost the fastest lap now to Wayne G behind him. Wayne G has managed to do 153.126, which is only 3,000ths faster than Ice Chan's fastest time. So on par, on time, these guys. Very equal pace. So nearly 10 minutes into this race now, 9 minutes and change. When do we think we're going to see the first of the pit stops? We've seen a couple of people going already. I think it was Pickle and possibly Jerry. We'll check the tyres on everyone. So Wayne G has started to close that gap. He started to close back up to Ice Chan. Managed to pull a bit of another second or two over Mawson. Vexed and Dan Bailey now into the pits. Getting rid of them. I think it was the softs. I think they ended up on softs. Forgetting to change their tyres before the first race. But at the moment not doing too badly. Considering they were on a strategy that they didn't want to run. And Mawson definitely looks very, very confident around the mountain, around Trial Mountain. Currently sat in third place. A little way off the top two at the moment. But still with a nice bit of breathing space over Thomas in fourth place. Blood Diamond, after his couple of mishaps, trying to get his head back into the race. He's still some way back from Thomas. You can probably see him at the end of this long straight. Which does give you the incentive to dig deep and try and get onto the back of the car ahead. Obviously they're all still yet to pit as well, the top four, top five. And Asbo stays our favourite track position. Up into 6th place now. Clutch is up into 7th. And he's somewhere ahead of the guys who have already served their pit stop, or their first pit stop of the evening. So Clutch, interestingly, going for the racing hards in the first stint. I think maybe he was trying out the softs and the mediums and they just didn't float his boat too much, so opting for the hards in the first stint. So he'll probably go to around 15 minutes on them hards, maybe a little bit longer. So Vex now out on a fresh set of medium tyres, hasn't had to put any fuel in the car. Dan Bailey also opting for the mediums. Will these guys be able to run them to the end of the race? You would imagine so. The very high tyre wear around Trial Mountain. I think both their front right hand tyres had completely left the track by the time they entered the pit. And Pickle obviously has pit as well. And we have lost Jerry. Jerry ended up disconnecting. I think he rejoined us for the second race. So Ice Chan definitely under pressure now from Wayne G. Wayne G's been conserving his tyres behind and now he's on a bit of a push lap. Definitely chasing the Iceman down. What can Too Fast do in that RX Vision? And when will these guys decide to pit? They've just passed the pit entry, so they're staying out for another lap. I think they'll go to around the 15-minute mark. I think it'll be around 15-16 minutes on the mediums. And then swap over onto the softs for the final push. Ice Chan getting a better drive out of that final chicane. So Thomas has managed to get past Mawson. Mawson maybe having a moment somewhere. Thomas was creeping up behind, but he's actually pulled out a bit of a gap now as well. Now, will he go in when the top two go in, or will he extend his stint being on the hards? I'm not sure what his strategy was here. I think it was hard medium. Don't think he opted for the softs. I think he decided to stay away from them. Ford GT nicely through the hairpin. Still trying to get on to the back of Thomas once again. When will Mawson decide to pit as well? Will he go in when the car ahead pits? Will we see Ice Chand and Wayne G? So they've stayed out again. So Wayne G and Ice Chand have stayed out again. Thomas does head into the pits. Mawson stayed out. So that's interesting. Thomas on the harder compound has gone in a lap earlier than the guys on the mediums. But that's freed Mawson once again to try and break that gap to Ice Chand. Thomas into the pits, Blood Diamond into the pits. Will Asbo follow suit? Asbo has stayed out. He's opting for the overcut. He will move past Thomas and up into 4th place. However, he does still have to pit, so he is going to lose a couple of positions once he does. I think Clutch is going to come through as well. And in fact, Thomas will come out just ahead, will he? So it looks like Thomas re-emerging just ahead of Clutch. And Blood Diamond into the pits. That's allowed Vex through. Vex now free to try and get onto the back of Clutch. I think Clutch will be going in on the next lap. Dan Bailey not far behind Vex now. Can he close the distance? As I say that, it looks like he is on the brakes. But then it looked like Vex just getting a better exit there. Are we going to see a battle form between these two? Onto the long back straight now on the approach to the left-hander hairpin. So Vexed covering the middle of the track once again. Doesn't want to move up the inside, but then we've got Blood Diamond out of nowhere, gets past Dan Bailey. He's going to have to go the long way round against Vexed. He's going to get a 2 for 1. Almost manages to get around the outside there. That was a class bit of driving there from Blood Diamond. So the top 3 are now into the pits. I think everybody else is probably going to follow suit. Anyone who hasn't yet served their pit stop. Look how close it is between these 3. Bit of a concertina there. Through that left-hander. So Thomas becomes new race leader, or does he? Hang on, I think Wayne G and Ice Chand have actually come out ahead. So Thomas up to 3rd place. Ice Chand and Wayne G can't be far ahead of him now. Just see Mawson coming out of the pits now. So this up ahead is Vexed and Blood Diamond. Vexed holding that 5th place for a minute. But here goes Blood Diamond up the inside through that sweeping left-hander. I think he just called Vexed unawares. And now Dan Bailey almost having an opportunity to look up the inside there. How long can Vexed hold on? We're going to have to check back in with the fight at the front because Thomas has managed to get past Ice Chand. So let's actually go and have a look at that battle. So Ice Chand has just been passed by Thomas. Was it through turn 1? I'm not too sure. Ice Chand on the racing soft. Thomas has opted for the mediums. And Chand up the inside. Just with the grip advantage there. But Thomas coming back on the exit. Can Thomas get... No, he can't. He's going to have to follow single file through the next turn. Will he be able to set up another move in the coming laps? We're slowly approaching 5 minutes left in this race. got just over 5 minutes to go. Ice Chan has managed to retake that second place, but look at Thomas go. Look at Thomas go on the mediums. Are we going to see a return move come from Thomas once again? He's obviously managed to get it done before, so where did we see it before, and is he going to be able to pull it off again? How much of a gap has Too Fast managed to pull out over Ice Chan? So Too Fast just entering the tunnel now. Ice Chan a second or two back. Oh, Dan Bailey has found his way past Vexed once again. So we've got Wayne G in first place in the lead of the race once again. Ice Chan in second place. Thomas there in third. We've got Molson in fourth. Blood Diamond is in fifth. Dan Bailey's in sixth. We got Vexed not far behind still. Can Vex retake that position? I don't think we're going to see it on this lap. Perhaps he's just going to try and keep that gap close until the final couple of corners, and then maybe we'll see a move come from the McLaren on the Subaru. And Asbo has actually started catching these two as well on the soft compound tyre. Currently sat in 8th place. He's got a nice bit of breathing space over Pickle though. Pickle, who went for that early pit stop, didn't he? On the racing hards now. But he has got a bit of distance over Clutch, but Clutch will surely start to reel him in on them softs. But still chasing Dan Bailey. That gap has opened up slightly, so Dan Bailey getting a little bit of breathing space at the moment. Can maybe work on trying to conserve them tyres a little bit. And I think we're going to have this lap and one more. So Blood Diamond, look at the distance that Blood Diamond has over. Oh, it looks like Dan Bailey moving over to the inside there, throwing some defensive shapes. Is Vex going to be close enough to have a look at an overtake? Oh, he was thinking about it. Definitely thinking about it. Not quite close enough that time round. He's going to continue the chase with Dan Bailey. So Blood Diamond has started to catch Mawson, but I think Mawson should be good to hold on to that 4th place for the minute. He's just got to keep it consistent, which he has done pretty much all race. I think maybe he had a moment earlier, which is why Thomas caught him when he did, but hasn't really put a foot wrong since. So Thomas still giving Ice Chan a run for his money. Ice Chan unable to get away from Thomas. And that gap is definitely only, it's got to be around 4 or 5 tenths. Around half a second. Just look at the Porsche carrying the speed through the tunnel there. Just closes right back up onto the Lamborghini on the exit. That was insane. And what Chan's tyres looking like. So Chan has gone for the softs in the final stint, and they are starting to look a little bit second hand. Is that going to give Thomas the opportunity that he needs to be able to get the pass done and maybe keep that position? Here he comes now. Chand will move over, cover the inside. He shows Thomas the long way round. I think Thomas with them mediums, with the grip advantage, will surely just be able to soar around the outside. He's got to be careful though, because Chand may suffer with a little bit of understeer. But no, in fact, Chand hugs that inside apex and gets the job done, keeps that position. It's a good defending there from Chand. But look at Thomas though. How racy he's looking at the moment on the mediums. Can he get the switch back here? Beautiful bit of racing. And it looks like Vexed has just managed to get the pass done on Dan Bailey as well. Must have been down the back straight into that final hairpin. And Thomas does get a move done on Chand. Up the inside there into the final chicane. Is this the final lap? It is. So Wayne G will take the checkered flag. And the win in the first race. GG's Wayne. Thomas, will he get the second place? Chand pulls out. Is Thomas takes second, Chand takes third. GG's guys. Mawson will take fourth place. GG's Mawson. Chand, Blood Diamond. Blood Diamond crosses the line. And his front right has left a chap. He's in fifth place. Vexed, sixth. Dan Bailey, seventh. Asbo, eighth. Clutch managed to get past Pickle at the end there. He will take ninth. And just look how much smoother the inputs are. And then Pickle finishes in 10th place. And obviously we had the disconnect of Jerry, but then he joined us once again in the second race, which I will be back with you shortly. So stay tuned for that one. I will see you then.